Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down at the Desk, which most recently means we're watching trailers. And I'm not going to lie to you, I have no transitional ideas to go from Black Mirror and the USS Callister to this film. But what I can tell you is I am so unbelievably excited about this film. What are we talking about? Why don't you pull up a chair? Take a seat. We're getting ready to take a look at the official trailer for F1. And the teaser trailer was definitely something that got me super excited and engaged with the movie. The idea of Joseph Kosinski going from the air to the ground, but to deliver something that seemingly is going to do a lot of the things visually that Top Gun did. It's extremely exciting. And when you hear things like Brad Pitt wanted to be behind the wheel of the car as often as he possibly could, getting somebody like the legend Lewis Hamilton to be your driving coach as well as the on-set like advisor and consultant for F1 things, also gets me super excited. When we watched the teaser, I kind of talked about the early days of my run at NBC Sports when I was on the video team. It was right after NBC had gotten the contract for F1. I had never watched F1 racing. I'm not much of an auto racing fan in general, but F1, a little bit more interesting, at least for me, than NASCAR. The idea of just like circles. I love NASCAR video games. Me and my buddy Danny, we used to hammer NASCAR video games while getting hammered in college. Drive backwards, just take out all the cars. We used to have a good time with those. But when it comes to like actually watching racing, like highlights sometimes are cool. I have been to one race, and I won't lie, the atmosphere around a NASCAR race is something I would totally, like for a weekend, I would be down if I had friends that wanted to go. But when it comes to like watching on TV, NASCAR just doesn't do it for me. Having to be forced to watch F1 because I was cutting highlights and covering things, I actually fell in love with F1 racing. It's a different style, it's a different vibe, and the people who were racing when we, took it on were the guys who became like the faces of F1, and literally getting to watch Lewis Hamilton seemingly come out of the blue and become one of the greatest F1 racers of all time was a lot of fun to experience. So I love the idea and the fact that he is involved in the movie. And then, like I said, diving into that world, the way that Kosinski will dive into something like this is super exciting. And again, having Brad Pitt on board to be the guy in the car as often as he could is also super exciting. And the cast list here is great. I love Pitt. Obviously, he's one of my all-time favorite actors. Carrie Condon is tremendous anytime she shows up. Javier Bardem, Damson Idris, somebody more recently I've gotten very excited about. So there are things that work, and like I said, that teaser trailer did enough to be like, oh man, we're like in the seat of the car and like right in the heart of the racing action. And that's one of the other things too that I really dug about F1 when NBC had it, was like the cameras and where the cameras are and how they function in and around F1, and how Kosinski is using some of that here, at least in what we saw in the teaser. Cooking up what I think should be an excellent film based on the little that we've seen. So I'm pumped to get into an official trailer. 2.5 minutes are in front of me. Let's get it in front of you and waste no more time. Let's take a look at what we're getting with our official trailer for F1. These driving sequences are gonna be fire.
Some people look at Sonny Hayes. They see a guy who lives in a van, a gambling junkie who missed
there
a
is
shot.
some crossover sometimes from other racing in F1.
The best that never was.
Best that never
But I
was.
see possibility.
So maybe a flame out in one of the other world of racing and bringing him over to F1.
Talent. But he's young.
Young up-and-comer like that. Great
You
music choice too.
plus him. Boom. I got a team.
When was the last time you won a race? Sunday, Daytona.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Daytona.
Formula One.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then same as you.
That is one of the other cool things I like about F1 is there's teams. So it'll be fun to see how those two push each other.
He's old. He's such a prick. He's quick though.
If you had any constructive criticism for each other, what would it be?
Don't be such an ass.
dickhead.
Yes.
That was
Oh,
constructive.
I'm already loving this relationship. June 27th. Summer is loaded.
Did you win something? There's 20 other drivers still out on that track. Do you think any of them respect us?
Oh, man.
They're saying Sonny Hayes isn't a has-been. He's a never was.
If the last thing I do is
Not
drive
shocked
that
there.
car, I will take that life, man. 1,000 times.
I'm offering you an open seat in Formula One. The only place you could say, if you win, you are the absolute best in the world.
These driving sequences are going to be fire. Oh, I got goosebumps right now, man. Like Kosinski's cinematic eye, specifically around stuff like flying jets or racing cars, like the way he brings things to life that exist in the world that many people will never get to experience firsthand and gives it to you in a firsthand way. Goosebumps all over. I also love the idea of getting a has-been or never was in one of the other racing worlds. Those didn't quite look like NASCAR cars, but I mean, there's so many different types of racing out there. But to bring him from one of those over to F1 to possibly reinvigorate his career or give him a chance to like really cement himself as one of the greatest of all time in the world of racing. But that's only like part of it, right? It's to give him that shot, right? That's the thing that's going to get him to come. What Javier Bardem really wants is to help elevate the youngster. So within F1, you have teams, and your teams, you know, I guess maybe it's the same in NASCAR. I don't watch a lot of NASCAR, but you have people who are racing for the same teams or companies, right? And the way you will push, you know, whoever is the better one, right? Like someone like Pitt's character is being brought in to push the youngster, give him support on the road, give him, you know, openings or possibilities to help get him to the front, like there's strategy and all that stuff in there. But I like the idea of having a character like Pitt who's going to be combative probably at the beginning of this, right? You see him and the young guy, you know, Damson Idris's character getting into it, probably because Pitt's going out there and racing for himself and not racing for the team. And watching, you know, that relationship grow, I think will be a lot of fun, as well as the growing of the team. Like clearly Kerry Condon and Brad Pitt are going to be growing in a different way. Something that I was not surprised by at all in the trailer. Her being his love interest makes a ton of sense. But like seeing how this team could be a down and outer that you build up into something. Like I love an underdog story. I love an up-and-comer story. Merging those together in a team that could be an underdog and seeing how they both will push each other. It checks all the boxes in a sport movie that you want. It checks all the boxes in an action movie, right? Like, I don't think people will necessarily think action movie for this, but being behind the wheel, where Kosinski's putting the camera, living some of those crashes, right? Like, clearly there's going to be at least one bad crash that we see, and we see Kerry Condon look quite worried, whether it's Idris or Pitt, we'll find out. But based on her response, I'm going to guess it's Pitt. But putting all those things in play inside of this vehicle for Joe Kosinski looks spectacular. And I think this is going to be a big hit. And it could be an awards bait type movie, right? I don't think you always necessarily feel that with sports driven movies, but Top Gun Maverick made some waves. I think Kosinski's got a lot of respect. Clearly, Pitt, is one of those guys, and this looks awards caliber if the story hits as well as what's going on screen. I think F1's got so much potential to be one of the best films of the year. The question is, what about you? Where do you fall in the world of auto racing? Are you an F1 fan? If you are, what here is really working, right? Like, I've experienced a decent amount of F1 early on in my career, and I'm seeing things that pop for me, but I am not going to say that I am an F1 fan. So for the real fans out there, what here is drawing you in? Is it the being in the seat? Is it the drama of the team? Is it the idea of someone who could be a has-been over here, maybe could have another life over here? Are those things clicking? What do you think's working? If you're not an F1 fan, but you're sitting here watching this trailer, like, what's popping, what's not? Is this something you want to see in the theater? I think that's another thing that Joseph Kosinski has, proven, at least coming off of Top Gun. He's a guy that's going to make cinema that's going to demand to be seen on a big screen. And I think the way he's approaching these racing sequences, it's demanding to be on the big screen. So do you feel that? Will you go see it on the big screen? Will you wait for streaming? Anything you got, good, bad, indifferent, on the official trailer for F1, put it down below in the comment section. Look forward to talking to you down there. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with the C-Man anytime. We're talking movies, TV, trailer, reactions. You want to be here in, I believe, June or July. I already forgot. I think it's June for this one. But you want to be here for my thoughts on F1. You dig the vibe? You want to show a little love and support to the old C-Man, and you haven't? Come join C-Maniac Nation. It's super easy. Just jump over there. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that little bell if you want those alerts. And until next time for the C-Man Cinema, sit down. I've been the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace.
C-Maniac Nation, you look nervous. Is it the scars? Would you like to know where I got them? No? Well, then maybe you'd like to see another video with the C-Man. How about up here or over here? And if you really dig the C-Man, well, then show him a little love right over there.